Hello all. So busy these days. Not much time for video. Today I get a full video. So much to talk about. So little time. So many things happening. But we're entering the Hillary 2.0 era. But let's go that way and see if we can't find a good place to do a video. So I wasn't really sure how I was going to get into this video. I had different plans, but there's a whole bunch of school children up there, so that isn't going to work. But what I wanted to do was talk about Joe Biden. Will he get the nomination for the Democratic run? And if he does, what could Joe Biden possibly do with all the hell that's going on just today around the planet? I'll just tell you right now, I'm against Joe Biden all the way. He has an okay environmental record, but everything else could be somewhat questionable or real questionable, such as Joe Biden is backing the coup in Venezuela. You see, true left is not somebody who supports war. Joe Biden supported the war in Syria, Iraq, Afghanistan. He also voted to re-energize all these wars in later legislation. So Joe is standing with John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, and Rubio. So Joe also supported and voted for a rollback on bankruptcy protection for graduate students with federal student loans. He's all part of the corporateness, the credit card business and the banking and Wall Street. He's all into that. We know that that's just a complete waste of money and time. You're just chasing some make-believe bullshit and hoping to get high or wealthy on it. So he's also backing the idea of sending migrant children to Guantanamo Bay prison. By the way, on that very issue, the military has awarded $23 million to begin construction of a child prison at Guantanamo. It will house 13,000 migrant children, 5,000 support staff, and will be made out of tents with dirt floors. This is the U.S. of today. Joe Biden isn't going to change this. We need real change. We need somebody that knows what real change is and how to get through climate change, wars, and start a peace negotiations around the world. There's never been that. We have never sat down with the world, the U.S., and said, let's do a peace deal for the entire world. Oh, by the way, Guantanamo has had children in this prison for some time. Here's a look at the list of children. That are either been in Guantanamo or are there now. Oh, by the way, where's Joe Biden getting all this money that he's so proudly getting? That's all that counts now, is just how much money each candidate gets. It's not what they stand for, it's just the money count. Everything's been reduced so low, you can't get any lower. Then even below the swamp? Nope, we're even below that. Joe Lieberman's fundraiser is with corporate lobbyists and GOP donors. That right there tells you that Joe Biden would make an excellent Republican when the Republicans are backing him. So do we, the people of the U.S., have any ethics left? Or what are called morals if you're a religious person? What happened? Where and when did we start making big prisons for children, stealing 35 more acres of Cuba without their permission? We're just going to take it and make these giant tent cities full of migrant children. Now, the U.S. has been known for its torture program in the past at this terrible place. Who says that the torture has even stopped? And we're willing, as lefties, to put a Joe Biden in there so that he can help build prisons for children? Oh, but that's right. The U.S. is a white nation. It only cares about white-skinned children, isn't it? The brown skin and other skinned children, well, you know, this coup in Venezuela is part of the U.S.'s history now. We are the country here in the U.S. that is trying to overthrow Nicolas Maduro. Why can't they just have an election like everybody else? The U.S. doesn't want Venezuela to have an election. Why? Because the person they thought would win would probably not win. So they choose coup instead. The Orange Man and the Democrats bringing good things to children. So here in the U.S., the Orange Man has said that he is going to back selling Roundup with glyphosate in it. And he says that the people of the U.S. have the right to buy whatever the hell they want, whether they poison us and others or not. There is $1 to be made. That's what's important. Well, that's the way sort of Joe Biden thinks, is corporate everything. Settle everything through the corporate and expect a different outcome that we already are in. Crazy. The people of the U.S. and the world need a visionary. Somebody that knows how to get universal health care in place. The Democrats here in the U.S. during the midterm promised they would work on health care. Zero. Absolutely nothing. They said that they would impeach the Orange Man. Zero. They said that they would stop the wars and defund some of the wars. What happened with that? Well, they say that they can't impeach him because there's no time. How many Democrats in the Congress? And you're telling me they can only do one thing at a time? They can't multitask? Fire every one of them. Fire the Democrats. Fire the Republicans. They're corporatists all the way. The Democrats are doing it a secretive way, trying to pretend like they're left when they're not. The far right wing are taking over a lot of the U.S. and going after other countries like Venezuela for their oil. The Orange Man says he'll just go take the oil. Are we going to back this? Is this what kind of country and world we want to live in? Do we not pay attention to history in the least? We have graveyards all over the world full of soldiers who fought fascism. But yet here fascism is rolling over the planet as fast as ever. Democracy and freedom are outside the norms. Those take a little bit higher thinking to achieve. And the dumber the people get, the closer we go back to a fascist hell planet to live on. That's why we came up with freedom in the first place, to try and get rid of all this hell that's coming. We need a visionary who knows how to make transportation affordable and environmentally friendly to the world, not just the U.S. We need somebody who's willing to look at the problems as a whole, as people as a whole, and start a peace process around the world. Not Joe Biden, not at all. We're so quickly running out of time before the floods will begin. The huge floods, not these little floods that we're seeing now. We're going to see migration like you've never seen before. But yet, we're willing to put in some deadhead like a Joe Biden in the U.S. We've already suffered through 2.5 years of the Orange Man. And look at the condition of the planet today because of this guy. We need visionaries, not corporatists. My prediction, the U.S. will put the Orange Man back in office. What's your thoughts on all this? You know, a lot of people tell me that you shouldn't waste your time on impeachment because there's just no time. Impeachment wouldn't even happen by the end. Well, at least we'd get the guy out of office. If he gets in for a second term, statue of kicks in and the whole gang get off scot-free. Joe Biden is not the man, no matter who they put him with. They could put him with a man in the moon and he would still be a corporatist. So, what's your thoughts on all this? So much going on around the world, and yet so many are wasting their time endlessly screwing with little toys like phones and things to keep their mind off what's really happening. Because that's the way so many people believe, is that we just ignore it all and just carry on with our life. And who cares what they do? Well, that's real cool if you want to see child prisons and who knows what comes after this. Nobody seems to care anymore. Boy, so frustrating. So, your comments, your ups, your downs, your new subscribers, and until next time.